After 4 years of skyrocketing crime, the city of Seattle has once again started arresting people for low-level crimes such as shoplifting and vandalism. Earlier this month, King County reversed its pandemic-era restrictions that had allowed petty criminals to walk free, even if they were caught red-handed, with the original goal of keeping jails less crowded during the pandemic and also most likely a result of the George Floyd-era defund the police movement in many liberal cities. Remember that Seattle was home to the Chaz District, or Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, a self-declared autonomous region established in June of 2020. 6 city blocks, including an area that surrounded the Seattle Police Department's East Precinct, claiming to be home for artistic expression and demonstration with self-governance. Chaz lasted about 2 months before Seattle police moved in, dismantled it, and reclaimed the precinct. This change is a victory for law enforcement, who for 4 years have been fighting to have the county let them, I don't know how else to say it, do their jobs, right? And it's not just petty crime that has plagued Seattle since the pandemic. Seattle is one of the few cities in the country where crime has gone up from 2023 to 2024. Take just gun crimes, for example. Few of these cities, according to a study cited in the Seattle Times. Boston, gun crime down 60%. New Orleans, considered the most violent city in America, down 44%. In larger cities like New York and Chicago, down 20 and 6%. Clearly a trend until you get to Seattle, where gun crime went up a whopping 63%. Joining us now is Seattle Police Department Deputy Chief Eric Barden. Deputy Chief, thank you very much for taking the time. Appreciate it. All right, so talk to us about how these changes have impacted your community and law enforcement.
It's a step forward for us to be able to respond to a scene, identify a suspect, take that person into custody, and then take them out of their environment and put them in jail. It was obviously a big problem for officers to respond, identify a suspect, and then release that person back into the community that they were just victimizing. It's disheartening for the officers and also the community members.
Well, and I've got to believe a lot of these criminals knew that, right? So I'm sure you arrive on a scene and you arrest them, and criminal says, "Hey, you're not allowed to do anything with me," right?
It's accurate. Yeah, we've been told that you can't arrest me for that, and that's obviously undermines our ability to restore public order, which is our job. And so, now, yes, we can, and we are.
And do you think that the ability to arrest on some of these lower level offenses will also help with law enforcement when it comes to some of the more significant offenses?
Absolutely. I think that accountability is an important part of the equation. Support is important, but accountability is critical as well. And, we were averaging 50 to 60 beds a night in the county jail in a major city. Where in 2019, we were averaging between 200 and 250. So just a drastic cut in the amount of beds available. So now we have an increase to 135 beds, which is nowhere near where we were in 2019, but a major step ahead of where we've been.
I've also got to believe that this is important for morale within the police department, too.
Absolutely. Officers take very seriously their responsibility to restore public order where there has been disorder. And it's disheartening to identify the person responsible and then have to drive away and leave them there in community.
Yep. And this is part of a trend now. A lot of places that were into the defund the police movement now realizing what a mistake it was. San Francisco, May 2024, mayor proposes record funding for police. New York, July 2024, city council approves record $112 billion budget with boost in funding for the NYPD. Portland, even in September of this year, police again allowed to arrest petty thieves, police funding restored. And now in Seattle, police again allowed to arrest some of these petty criminals. It does seem, Deputy Chief, that maybe people have come to their senses a little bit.
Certainly, we have received significantly more support from the current city council and our current mayor's office than we did in the preceding years. And I think we are making a turn for the better.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.